Thanks for joining again. Today I'm going to be making lentil Salisbury steaks and mashed potatoes. The recipe will be in the link below. The first thing we'll do is get our lentils ready. Just note that when you do these, about 1 cup of dried lentils is roughly 2 cups when cooked. This recipe called for 2 cups cooked, so I did 1.5 cups and had plenty left over. Make sure you rinse your lentils off before you cook them. I guess there's a lot of natural debris that is in the bags of the lentils when they get packaged. Anyway, just make sure you rinse them multiple times. Get them nice and clean before you cook them. Cook them over medium heat for about 20 to 30 minutes. Next, rinse off your potatoes. Just get all that excess dirt and debris off of them. Once you've washed off all of your potatoes, start chunking them up. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Just get them decent sized chunks. They don't have to be too big or too small. Whatever's most convenient for you and however big your pan is will work. Rinse off the chunked up potatoes. Just get all that excess starch off. Once you're done with that, fill up your sink with cold water. And again, I like to put ice in it just to make it as cold as possible. Drain your lentils and set those aside to cool off. You'll know when your lentils are done. When you pick them up, you can squish them and they are very mushy. Place all of your ingredients for the Salisbury steak mixture into a bowl. You use lentils, vital wheat gluten, breadcrumbs. I didn't have any, so I substituted some oat flour and it worked out just fine. Veggie broth, soy sauce, liquid smoke, salt, and pepper. Again, the link for the recipe is down below, so you'll be able to see all the measurements that you need there. Mix all your ingredients together. I like to use my hand so I can feel what the mixture is like. In this case, it was a little too mushy, so I knew I needed to add some vital wheat gluten. Just be careful if this happens to you. You don't want to add too much vital wheat gluten. If you do, these steaks will be too hard and they won't cook properly. Now you're going to get your steaks ready. Grab a handful at a time and you're going to want to mash that up. This recipe should yield about 8 steaks. It could do more just depending on how thick you make them. Add your potatoes to your pan and put those on the stove over medium heat. Just watch them just to make sure that they don't boil over. Add your oil to a pan on medium heat and then place your steaks in. Cook your steaks for about 6 to 8 minutes each side and then remove them from the pan. Note that this recipe says you can cook these steaks in the oven before placing them in the pan. I've done them both ways. I just prefer cooking them in the pan. I think they have a better texture that way. Add your oil, garlic, and mushrooms to the pan that's still on medium heat from your steaks. Cook your mushrooms for about 8 minutes and then remove from the pan. You don't want to overcook them right at this step because you will be adding them back later, which is going to cook them a little bit more. Keep your pan on medium heat and then add your butter. You're going to want to let that melt before you add your flour. Whisk that together, and this is going to be the roux that thickens your broth. Add your broth and cook for about 10 minutes, whisking occasionally. You'll notice the longer that it cooks, the thicker this gravy will become. Continue cooking your gravy over medium heat, but now that it's thickened up, you're going to want to add your spices. You're going to add sage, thyme. I also like to add parsley and oregano. Once you're done with the spices, add back in your mushrooms, and once again, those are going to cook a little bit longer. I like to place my steaks back in the gravy to kind of help them absorb it and give them some extra flavor. Next, I made my mashed potatoes. I added some broth, minced garlic, garlic powder, parsley, salt, and pepper, and then blended all of that together. Those turned out fantastic. Unfortunately, I forgot to take a picture of the finished product. The dinner was so delicious and everyone was hungry, so they ate it before I could even get a picture.